We have heart-stopping drama, unlikely heroes, twists and turns, and a secret villain emerging in NRL fantasy this week. Welcome back, guys. Talking about all the drama from round 17 heading into round 18. It is chaos right now. Now, it'd be quicker if I just went through the bad news and the good news for you, but I'm going to go through everything. But a quick summary before we go through the top scorers here. So just the format, news, top scorers, and then we go into game by game. So news here, Jacob Kiraz, 18th man for Origin. Terrible news. He will not be available for you in round 18. That's a shocker. Now, if you went Reece Walsh instead, which you needed a wing fullback, right? He's probably in Origin as well because Kalen Ponga is out for 4 to 6 weeks. Damien Cook dealing with an ankle issue should be okay. Toby Couchman out for the season. So again, that's a shocker that impacts most of us because he was a solid option to have. Then Talon De Silva signs with the Eels, so he is now off the radar as a cash out until maybe round 19, round 20. Jackson Purdue, shocker. That one just hurts me. And then Kolomatangi and Terrell May there, really low minutes for them too. So a bit of a fall off for some guys who we're really relying on this week. Now, we'll go through all those game by game as well, but what that means is it's chaos this week. So if you are in a situation where you don't want to fill a full 13, it may actually make sense not to. Depending on how the team lists shake out, it may actually make sense not to fill the full 13 this week because you really want to focus on that end game. You know, those ultimate rosters there. And we do get the extra trades in round 20. But you need some trades for round 19 to do some upgrades. Now let's turn to these top scorers here, and the unlikely hero pops up first. Tallis Duncan, 96 points. If you jumped on him as a result of our advice, you are welcome, by the way. He has killed it since we had him in the buy list. But if you jumped on of your own accord, that's fine too. If you jumped on as a result of someone else telling you, congrats to them. But Tallis Duncan's just been a machine. I'm still reluctant to say he'd be a keeper. I don't think he's going to be a keeper, but through this period, he's going to make you a bunch of cash, and he's probably going to be a straight swap for someone really good. So ride the wave with Tallis Duncan as long as you can, and we'll talk about him more in the South Sydney game. Jerome Hughes, a big bounce back from him. He was really hyped last week. People were concerned with that 45 points with a try. Well, he woke up this week, 85 points. He chose violence, and next to Elliot Katoa, who pumped out 65 as well. Nathan Cleary with a 79 here. Val Holmes, 78 points. Terrell May, 76 points. Big PPM there in lower minutes, so I'm still a little worried there. Shibasaki, 76. He's been getting it done. Kelma Tuolangi, a surprise packet there with the 72 there as well. Hosking, the resurgence. We'll talk about him in the Canberra game, but this was a big one from him. A lot of offloads, running some nice lines. Nearly had a couple more tries in this one as well. Another bounce back here. Dylan Edwards here, close to 70 points. And then, a bit of a bounce back here, a bit of a pod that we could look at down the stretch. Jeremy Marshall King. And we won't go through, Hammer, Schiller, Horsburgh, KO Weeks, Connor Tracy, all these sorts of guys, but there were plenty of big scores for this week. Now, turning into the games, we always start with the last game. We work our way back, and we are on the Titans v Cowboys first. I thought the Titans would leak a lot of points, and I wasn't wrong there, but I thought the Cowboys would be better than this. So they were pretty average in this game, and I really thought they'd put on a bit more here. So I was sort of thinking maybe that 40-10 kind of scoreline rather than 30-24. But shout out to the Titans there. Without Jaden Campbell in the wet, they did put on some attack in this game. Now, Bo Firma's the first man up, 67 points for him. Crushed it. Big defensive work rate, 36 tackles. That always helps. 124 meters run. Grabbed a try. This is Bo Firma doing Bo Firma things. Scott Drinkwater, big game for him too. So 2 tries here, 1 try assist, 2 line breaks in those tries as well. One of the line breaks was separate to a try. So he made a separate line break that set up a try. But he was super involved in everything good the Cowboys did. So pretty much every try, thinking back, he was involved in some way. He was either the pass to the assist or the line break before the try or whatever it is there. So let's go Drinkwater in killer mood there. 62 is not crazy good in terms of the score, but it was wet weather. It was sloppy. So I'm happy with that as a Drinkwater owner. It's a great score from him. Phil Sami grabbed the 60 here. Robson, 55. Robson could be one that you do look at down the stretch potentially if you want to. Big Tino, 54 points in 69 minutes. He's definitely a pod option down the stretch as well. So he's going to be around that sort of low 600s area in a couple of weeks' time. If he gets over that sternum issue, that's what we're looking for there from Big Tino as a pod down the stretch. Sam Verrills with a 50, Clifford, 50-odd, Cotter as well, Jojo Feeder. Then down to the 40s here, we have Kelly, Bremson, Campbell Gillard, Dearden, Randall, Weaver. And through to the 30s here, Edwards, McIntyre, Labart. Yeah, look, Murray Talangi. I'll stop on the guys who are fantasy relevant. That's sort of what we got to do, right? So Jeremiah Nanai grabbed the try. 32 points with the try is peak Nanai fantasy stats there. Great player, but not a consistent fantasy producer, is he? Then McKaylee, Jolliffe, Foreign, Fodawaker, Kai O'Donnell. He'll play some big minutes next week. Jackson Purdue with a 15-pointer, 77 meters run. That's a problem there. You need bigger meters from him. He didn't get a lot of good ball. It felt like he was getting stifled when he did have the ball. So that wet weather, that was the big thing that really slowed him down, I think. But I'm gonna keep him for one more week and then probably sell him after that, and I've copped a bit of a cash loss, but so be it. That's just how it goes. And down the bottom here, Fitzgibbon had a bit of a howler there, so he's had some good games recently, but he really got shut down in this one, and probably will feel some pressure to keep his spot in the team. I would say next week, round 19 anyway. Then through the Storm and the Sharks here, and the Sharks were in this game. Like they could have been up at halftime. They nearly had that try, and they threw an intercept try instead. So they could have been up 12-6 potentially, or 10-6 at halftime, which doesn't reflect here in this 30-6 final scoreline. Like the Storm just outclassed them there, but the Sharks were in this game, and bit of a weird one for Cronulla. You just you're watching them, and I'm sort of waiting for them to click into gear, and it just isn't really happening here. However, the Storm definitely clicked in this one, and big Jarom Hughes and Eli Katoa, that combo was the story of the day in this matchup. So Jarom Hughes here first, 85 points from him. The big indicator you're looking for here is the 10 tackle breaks and the 108 meters run. That's great. Like he was making a bunch of runs where he's busting tackles, looked very aggressive with the ball in hand, was still a little bit more pass first than we expect from Jarom Hughes, but very strong with the ball in hand. That's what you want there. That's proof that he's going back to normal. He'll be that sort of low 50s to mid 50s kind of average with that boom potential as well. So for him, 85 points here. Grab the try, 2 try assists, 10 tackle breaks, good defensive work rate, reasonably good. Kick meters very strong there as well. If you still don't have a half for next week, he will still be value next week. So still a good option. Then Eli Katoa, bit of a quieter game from him. So a few things to shout out here. The couple of errors there, the penalty there as well, missed tackles there, had the 2 try assists in the try, which were fantastic. But you expect a few more points from him in a game like that. So it was a game where there was a bit of frustration if you're a Katoa owner, but at the same time, he showed that big attacking ability and he got 66 points. So you can't complain about that, but he's got that attacking upside every single week. He's a guy who can go up in the air, compete for the high ball, and they love kicking to Eli Katoa. Loera with a 58 here, Nico Hines a 57. So for Hines, again, interesting one here. So 33 tackles, 1 missed tackle. That's boosted the score up quite a bit there. The kick meters are a bit more this week too. So he had 300 kick meters there, which is higher than what we've been seeing recently. 74 meters run is a little bit low. Had that nice little offload there, a tackle bust. Like we're starting to see a bit of Hines there. Had the try assist too, but threw that intercept try as well. So for Nico Hines, it's not really clicking this year, but a 57. I'll take a 57 in a game where they got smashed. I just need to see him have one of those big pop games. That's a big thing there. So I'll be keeping Hines for a bit longer and just seeing what happens. But if you've sold Hines, I wouldn't feel too bad about it. This isn't a score that you're freaking out about losing. Then down to the 40s here, we got Bloor, Munster, Fanua, Blake, Grant, Nakora, McInnes, Ramian, Brayley, Kafusi. Yep, so those boys there. So I'll talk about a few of them here. Bloor, pretty solid there. Not really a guy we're targeting in fantasy. Munster, again, reasonably solid game. You've got the big 100 meters plus running the ball, just no attacking stats. So 48 with no attacking stats, no offloads, 1 tackle break. I just need some attacking stats. Like that's the bit, right? Like, so logically, I'm looking at this as a Munster stand. You guys know this, and I'm thinking, oh yeah, like that's fine. I just need some attacking stats. But it's been around a month since he's hit reasonable attacking stats. So it's only one of those breakout games, but the indicators are there that if he can get those attacking stats going again, he's going to be pumping out that 60 average. So I'm probably going to stick with Munster for the rest of the year. I'm kind of almost making that call at this stage. Fanua Blake with a 47. Look, played 60 odd minutes there, so you can't complain too much. For him, 40 tackles, 125 meters run, no tackle breaks, no offloads, no attacking stats. I'm okay with it. Like again, they got smashed in this game. He just didn't really open anything up in this game in terms of attack or creativity. No Mayo stats as well at all. So if you're a Fanua Blake owner, you cop a few of these scores for some bigger scores as well. He's a pseudo keeper, like a fringe keeper. If you're a bit low on trades, you're definitely keeping a guy like Fanua Blake. I know I probably will. Then Harry Grant with a 42 here. So the 8 missed tackles is very, very, very concerning. You've got 29 meters run there, a little bit of kicking, but 47 tackles, 42 points. It's not super encouraging, and it's not one that's making me want to go and buy Grant. Personally, I'm leaning more towards Connor Watson as every week passes over Harry Grant because I think he's less likely to get a big rest at the end of the year. The Roosters are really fighting for those top 4 spots potentially as well. So I think Connor Watson's going to play hard all the way through. They've let Brandon Smith go as well, so he's going to be that guy for them. Iolu is a solid option there as well, but it just moves Connor Watson to lock. They have Radley out for a while. They've got Sil Wong out for a while as well. So I think there's going to be plenty of minutes on offer for Connor Watson. So Harry Grant, probably off my radar at this stage. Then Nakora, solid. McInnes, Ramian. Yeah, Brayley back to normal a bit, Brayley. So 46 tackles, 41 points, low run meters there. It's a bit more traditional sort of Brayley, but he has shown a bit of attacking ability recently. So I think he's going to have some more big games before the year is done. Trindle grabbed a try in this one. And so for Solomona, PPM's good. Try assist there, 3 offloads, but just not the base there. 8 tackles, 85 meters run. That's the problem there. If you're a middle forward, you need a few more than that to rack up big fantasy scores. Mulatalo, pretty quiet there. So Longo had the big try there, but did a hammy late in this game. So he might be out for a while. There might be a new winger in Melbourne. Ryan Pappenhausen played less minutes, just got a rest in this game. So 34 points is not great. No attacking plays is the big issue there. Got a little rest at the end. I wouldn't freak out. If you're a Pappenhausen owner, you're hoping for a big score next week. Anderson, Colhoun. Look, Colhoun's been quietly pretty good. Another 32-point game, making a bit of cash. Wilton, King, Tokamanu, really quiet, playing off the bench for the Storm. I'd be very surprised if he's in the Origin team. I mean, I'm not saying he won't be in the Origin team, but if you're coming off the bench for the Storm playing 33 minutes, it's a bit surprising. A bit surprising to me. I would have thought he'd have grown into a bigger role by now. I sort of expected him to grow into a 50-minute role, but he really hasn't sort of been moving in the right direction in terms of minutes. Then Katoa, Meany, Talakai. Talakai a bit quiet in this one. Just not a lot of attack on offer against the Storm. They were really suffocating. Coates, Kennedy, Rudolph. Yeah, look down the bottom here. Nothing too crazy to talk about for fantasy. Kamitha Mitha, we sort of joked about him as a potential cash out a few weeks ago. 4 points in 16 minutes is not what you would have wanted in your 17 this week. Then we got the Dolphins and the Rabbits, and Dolphins wrap up another 50-point game. And good on you, Redcliffe. Good on the Dolphins here for racking up some big scores. Now they've got 3 of the top 4 scorers and 5 of the top 7 scorers are Dolphins here. So they really racked up the scores. But Talis Duncan was the big man on campus. Look at this stat line here. It's 96 points. If you're a Talis Duncan owner, you are just chuffed. You are chuffed. Last week it was great because he scored that low 50s score in a game where they got beat and he didn't have any big attacking plays. And you thought, yeah, that's ideal. That's the best score ever. This is even better. Like 96 points here. 2 tries, 2 line breaks, 46 tackles, 7 tackle breaks, and you have 125 meters run. No missed tackles, no errors. He has been pretty flawless in defense recently. So, hey, I mean, sorry, I say that right. More fantasy perspective. I'm not commenting on, they conceded 50 points. So I'm not saying he's been flawless in defense in real life, but the missed tackle counts have not been as high as I expect them to be for him. So, Talis Duncan, if you got him, see if he keeps it up. Keep him a bit longer. See if he keeps it up. If he has another big score next week, you probably can't cash him out for a while. So he's going to keep him for a while. And it's a tough one because you have a lot of Souths players. You might be struggling a bit in round 19. So you have to make some decisions at that time. Then we've got Marshall King with a 69, Hamaso 69 as well. 2 nice scores there, 5 tries between the 2 of them. Marshall King is one who's interesting. If he goes back to 80 minutes, that could be very interesting. So Donahue is now playing much more lock, but there's a chance that Donahue moves to the halves potentially. So Cody Nikarima, he's done a hammy, which means Donahue could move to the halves. O'Sullivan might move to the halves. I think Donahue is more a similar half to Cody Nikarima. So we'll see what happens there. But if Donahue does move to the halves, potentially they give Marshall King more minutes just because, Harrison Graham or whoever it is there just plays it lock a bit. Like, it's tough because they're missing so many forwards. So if Marshall King goes back to 80 minutes, he could be in a cut price pod in round 19 that you look at the hooker position. Then Herbie Farmworth here, 66 points. So for him, I'm a bit worried about Herbie, actually, being transparent. So the work rate's great. Like for him, 162 meters run, 2 offloads, 9 tackle breaks. But my concern here is you lose Cody Nikarima on his inside and you lose Jack Bostock on his outside. So you've got this edge now that is missing the 2 guys who were pretty lethal on each side of him. Like he's lethal, but that's part of what was making that edge so lethal. And that was opening up opportunities for Herbie Farmworth. So I worry a bit that edge might stagnate a little bit, potentially. I don't know, maybe they bring Cobbo into that early. I'm not sure if that happens. Just a little bit concerned. Like as a Farmworth owner, I'm not selling him necessarily. But if you were saying to me, hey, I want to go buy Herbie, I'd be sort of saying, hey, he's 850K. Give it a week or two. Give it a week or two. Just see if that edge is impacted by these changes. Because if they start going the other way a lot more instead, I'm just throwing it out there, right? He's still a machine, but we're talking about a center who is averaging 64 points a game. So the margin for error is not much. Like if he loses a bit of that attacking potency on that edge potentially, and that average drops down to 55 or 58 or whatever it is, then you're paying overs. You know what I mean? You might be looking at him versus Bo Firma, who's quite a bit cheaper, and that decision becomes a bit more complicated, I think. So just keep that in mind. I still think he's a great option, but I'm just tempering my expectations for the run home here. Troll Mitchell, big game from him. In a game where they got smashed, he still ran up a big score here. You have the goals there, try assist, line break. You've got 2 tackle breaks there with 135 meters run, 2 offloads as well, bunch of kick meters as we've seen before. Big thing that was positive for me is he was running a lot of those sweep plays and he was looking for contact on those plays. So running a lot of tough lines as well. I was watching this just thinking, yeah. In an easier game, Latrell's going to score a few tries running these plays. It's going to be good. So even though the stat line doesn't necessarily reflect what I'm saying, I think like eye test wise, I was seeing Latrell playing really, really physical footy and just thinking, yeah, that's going to come good down the stretch. So Latrell Mitchell is a fantastic target for round 20. Round 20, given the week after Origin, they have a buy anyway. You buy him in round 20 as that top keeper wing fullback. He could easily be the number one wing fullback for the run home. I think it's probably him versus Jaden Campbell, if we're being completely honest with ourselves. Those two are the guys, just because of the kick meters there, the attacking potency, and the amount of hands on ball. So Trell Mitt, round 20. I love it. You love it. Let's do it. Isaiah Katoa with the 60 here, 3 try assists, a line break. He's got his 160 run meters again, offloads, tackle breaks, all that. 7 missed tackles. So he has had a bit of a trend of increasing missed tackles recently, which is a bit concerning. But if you got Katoa, you're just riding the wave here. If you don't have Katoa, he may become a bit more dominant even. I can't imagine that, but he may become a bit more dominant he's playing both sides anyway, but he may pop up even more with Cody Nickream out of the team now because Cody was doing quite a bit in attack. So maybe Katoa takes it to another level. I can't imagine him doing that, but yeah, he's crushing it. He's a 60 average. You keep him as well. He's crushing it. That line break where he set up Hammer for the try and he was looking out left and just sort of turned in, hit Hammer on the chest. It was absolutely beautiful. Just a lovely little try assist and line break there. So again, I'm not a Katoa owner, but I'm appreciating everything he's doing. Like, he's such good footy to watch. Kurt Donahue, you lucky bums. You lucky bums. All of you have Kurt Donahue. I hate you. Katoa owners, I'm rooting for you because that was fantastic footy. But the Donahue owners, that full field intercept try for your lock forward. Are you kidding me? And look at the wheels he had. He was so fast. Like, that was unbelievable. So congrats to you. But I was seething. I was seething on that one because that pumped his score up by 20 points. He was sitting on he was going to get about a 40. He's pumps up to about a 60 there. So funny. But hey, he might move to the halves now. So just from what we've seen of him so far, he'll be very hands on ball. He'll run the ball. He's a very attacking, threatening sort of guy. I think Donahue's going to be effective regardless of where he plays. If you got him in your team, you're starting to think, hey, maybe I just keep him on the end of my bench. Like, the hooker half cover is super valuable. Just ride the wave with him. And at this stage, he's showing great signs. Then down the list here, Jack Whiten played a bit of half, scored 2 tries in this one. If he plays half long term, I'm interested. Otherwise, no interest from me. Jai Arrow, Cody Walker. Walker was good until the injury. So 2 try assists in this game, 3 line break assists. He ran for 81 meters as well, but then went up signed with a hamstring. So yeah. Jaden Sullivan as well. He's done an injury in reserve grade. So for them, it's probably going to be, is it Dodd? Is it Dodd potentially? Is it maybe Latrell to the halves if Dry Gray was fit? But I think he's hurt as well. So they have a lot of problems, South Sydney, in terms of the injury front. And this was such a fantasy stacked game. I'm just talking about this one for ages. The other games will be a bit quicker. So Isako, solid here. 9 goals definitely helps. Isako's been on a bit of fire lately as well. Ewan Aitken, he is tough one. He had a bit of a rest in this one. He looked like he did like some sort of higher leg injury at some point. Like, he was sort of grabbing at it, but then he was back out there playing well. So keep an eye out for that. But I haven't seen any reports on that, so I think he should be okay. Played a bit of center in this game too, which definitely slowed him down. But 42 points, you can cop it. For him, 39 tackles, 93 meters run. Not a lot of Mayo stats. That's a big deal there. Then Totola, solid. Finafuyaki, Moale grabbed a try. On Kalamatangi. What are you doing, mate? What are you doing? We got the fractured face, and then we've got this game, a 37 in 60 minutes. No tackle breaks, no offloads. 32 tackles, 112 meters run. Just not a great fantasy performance here. And for Kalamatangi, he was on the field when Souths were well in this game. Like, the Dolphins sort of ran with it late, but I was kind of surprised. Like, I thought this was one of his. Like, I'm a big Kalamatangi fan. He's been absolutely fantastic this year. I thought this was one of his worst games. Like, I really wasn't impressed by him in this game, and that's a change, right? Because every time I watch Kalamatangi, I'm blown away. So probably a reflection of the higher standards I've got for Keon. But for him, in this game, I thought, yeah, up against a rookie prop who we've never heard of, and Kurt Donahue at lock and sorry, Jerry Marshall King at hooker, and they're missing like their entire middle forward rotation. They're missing Safidi, Flegler, Max Plath. They're missing Gilbert. Like I thought Kolomatangi put his stamp on this game and show a bit of attacking, flair, and we just saw none of that. Which, yeah, I thought Souths could, win the middle forward rotation. I thought Dolphins might win on the edge, and Dolphins did win on the edge, and Souths were competitive in the middle, but Kolomatangi, it wasn't his day. It wasn't his day. So I don't know. Maybe he got less minutes. Maybe he was taking it easy. He knows he's in Origin, something like that. But who knows? Who knows? Like, it was just a bit of a shocker. So you're just gonna have to write that one off and move to next week and hope it was just a temporary drop. Then Ray Stone, 36. Campbell Graham, quiet again. Avarillo, Molo, Mama Zealous. Yeah, Mama Zealous came on. Big PPM from him, but he'd need 80 minutes to be of relevance, and it's probably too late now. Nichols, Nikarima, Hubner. Yeah, look, Tawa. Tawa is actually quite good, by the way. He's very, very cheap. He was playing at prop. He was playing at prop, and he's listed as a center. This is kind of what I'm talking about. I thought Keon Kolomatangi would take it to him, but he was fantastic. Big, physical, went hard in this game. Strange little cash out option if you're desperate for round 19. Just one to keep an eye on there. Humphreys, very quiet. 53 kick meters is not what we want to see for Humphreys. Finai, Munro, and then down the list here, Havili, Lemuelu, really quiet. Kerr, yeah, Johnson down the bottom there as well. Alex Johnson is a classic score 70 one week and 9 the next week kind of guy. He's playing at wing, right? He makes big plays, but they don't happen as consistently as everything else. Then Dragons and the Eels, and this was a bloody frustrating game as a Para fan because I felt like we were doing a lot of things right. And look at the list here, 4 of the top 5 fantasy scorers were from Parramatta. So I think my feelings are somewhat validated by that, but fantasy doesn't reflect everything. So I'm just going to have to go through this and pretend I'm not completely depressed about how that game went. So Val Holmes, big score from him. Holmes is cooking in this game. He had a great try off kick as well. 2 tries. He had 7 tackle breaks there, 200 meters plus run. Playing Origin, you're not going to, or being around that Origin picture at least, you're not going to target him. So, he's a fun little pod. If we didn't have such great centers, I would be eyeing off a guy like him. Like, he's definitely a big strike guy. Kelma Tuolangi, he's out for, I think it's 3 weeks with a suspension. So that 72 points is lovely, but you're not going to do anything about it because he's gone. Kidioni Kautonga, he was great. He was actually my vote for man of the match from the Para side. But he ran some great lines, defensively strong, and it's reflected here. He had the line break try assist there, running a nice line, running straight over Kyle Flanagan for that one. Had the 6 tackle breaks there as well. Yeah, 111 run meters there, a couple of offloads, 31 tackles, 1 missed tackle there. So I thought he was pretty effective with that 65-point game, looking like a pseudo keeper. And again, if we weren't so strong at center, he would be so valuable, and we'd be eyeing him off as a keeper as well. Zach Lomax, big game, grabbed a try in this one. 5 offloads as well, 200 meters run. He's doing everything at Parramatta right now, and he could be a pseudo keeper for the run home as well at a good price there. So pretty more of a round 20 prospect there. You probably don't want to pick him backing up from Origin in round 19, but round 20, Zach Lomax, if you're desperate, I'm not against it at about 600K. Pretty good option there. Jack Williams, he's been doing that every week, 53 points. Clemmer, big minutes here. So Couchman was obviously down in this game. They lost a few players due to injury, and Clemmer, stepped up. They had no bench basically for the last 20 minutes there. So Clemmer, 63 minutes, 53 points, just getting through work in this one. Damien Cook, dealing with a bit of an ankle issue in this one, but made that line break at the start of the game, essentially set up a try. And 31 tackles, 2 tackle breaks offload, 110 meters run, 50 points in 50 minutes. The minutes were a bit concerning, but the ankle issue probably indicates as to why some of that was happening. Yongi, again, really good game without Moses there. So he was sort of taking over in this one. Very strong, 49 points. Adokar, 49. Flanagan with a 44. Grabbed that try. Kick meters are still high here. Gula played 61 minutes, had 50 tackles and 43 points. So that is pretty disastrous in terms of tackle to fantasy point production there for Gula. You want your props to have a few tackle breaks, a few offloads there, maybe more than 55 meters. So Gula is an interesting little pod play if you were desperate in the mid spot, just with the injuries that the Dragons have, but I just don't see him producing enough to be worth it at 417K. So if you're desperate, you're desperate. If you're not, then just steer clear. King Tongia, decent game from him. 2 line breaks here, had a try assist as well, nearly 100 meters run. So he was pretty effective, taking on more kicking as well. He's definitely a guy you want to keep. Like, we've been talking about this for a couple of weeks now. He's a guy who's showing some good signs, and you just want to hang on to him. It's not worth trading him to Latu Fainu or that sort of thing. I think I talked about 20 people last week out of trading King Tongia to Latu Fainu because it's sideways. Like they're both young running halves. They're both good players. Like they both have a bit of talent. They're both in teams that are a bit streaky, right? Teams that are sort of on the up, but are still on that journey. So for King Tongia, stick with him. Play him next week. I wouldn't trade him to Latu. There's not enough money being made. Just stick with him for a bit, and then you can cash him out at some point later on as well. Dylan Brown, yeah, 144 meters run was good. He was a bit more involved in this game, just not looking as potent as he used to. So he's sort of off my fantasy radar. DeBellin with a low 40 score. Hawkins grabbed a try in this one, but not that sort of special footy Dean kind of game from last week. Sewer, Hopgood, Little, Gutherson, yeah, King Gutho. He was physical in this game, but just didn't quite click for fantasy. Walker, Lussick, yeah, Corey Allen down the list here picked up an injury, but it was just a HIA that he passed, so he should be all good. Hence the 67 minutes there. Then Paulo, yeah, he was playing big minutes, just not the fantasy points. Sully, Russell, Dury, yeah, Lawson, 2 tries, 16 points, ended up on 21. So yeah, he's got a bit of a shoulder issue as well, which is bad news for him. Like he's a young guy, he's coming in. He's not that young, but he's young in rugby league, coming in, giving it a massive crack. He's had some big moments, like some really good moments, some average moments, as you expect from a rookie. I think he's got some chops though, so he'll come back next year and he'll throw something at it again, another year wiser. But I think he might be out for an extended period with that. I think it was a shoulder issue. Just wait for official confirmation on that one as well. Couchman, though, and Leilua, we do know for sure they're injured. So Leilua went off. He was ruled out pretty early. I think it was a quad from memory. I just remember seeing the notification pop up, but he was out. I don't think it's like anything too major. So we'll keep an eye on that. That might open up a spot for a guy like Sagranis on the edge potentially. And then Couchman, really tough one here to swallow. 19 points in 45 minutes. So it was not a good fantasy night at all. And then it got worse when he did his shoulder. He is now out with a dislocated shoulder for an extended period. So sucks for Couch. Yeah, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. I find it hard to think too much about my fantasy side when you see a young guy sort of do an injury when they're on the up. Like he was playing great footy and he's had just a bit of frustration this year. So he'll come back next year. He'll be red hot. He's an option. So he'll be priced at about a 54. He's an option we might consider next year. If he's starting at lock, so DeBellin's going to be gone from the club. If Couchman's starting at lock or starting at prop, I might get him at the start of next year if he's priced at a 54. So keep an eye on him for next year. He's a guy that we like. Then Fifita, Samrani. I mean, Hamish Stewart played very low minutes here, but kind of interesting. Josh Pupley, he's going to be a cash out. And at some point this year, my guess, it's just a guess, is that Parramatta will go, all right, you know what? Dylan Brown's leaving at the end of the year. Josh Pupley is going to be our 5'8" next year. Let's bring Josh in full time and let's see how he goes. At that point, you can cash out to him at 230K, right? So just keep him in the back pocket as an option that you might cash out to at some point as a cheap, wing fullback as well, coverage option too. Then Broncos versus Warriors. And we've got the Broncos winning this one 26-12. Some terrible news out of this game. I didn't even mention at the start. Luke Metcalf is down with an ACL. It's suspected. It's not confirmed, I don't believe. But maybe it is confirmed. It sounds really bad, though. So, yeah, I'll pop that in the comments, actually. I'll pop that in the comments. I didn't mean to sort of gloss over him. I just wrote some notes on a little piece of paper as I was watching that last game. But yeah, no, Luke Metcalf out for a while. So that's terrible news for the Warriors. Terrible news for him. He's having a cracker of a season. We had a few of those this year where young guys have been absolutely killing it, absolutely flying, and then just, copped a pretty big injury. So he'll come back next year. He was on track for a Dally M potentially. So he'll be coming back much stronger next year. But let's work through this game here. So we got Shibasaki with a big one, 76 points out of him. Got 2 tries, 3 line breaks, 10 tackle breaks. Shibasaki's been quite a find for the Broncos. And he's been a journeyman for quite a while, and he's just found a home here at Brisbane. So kudos to him. And if you held on to him, he's a great center option for next week. You're riding that wave, but I would not be buying Shibasaki next week. So don't fall into that. Personally, I got him on the waivers in a couple of draft leagues, and he's been a killer. Him and Rob Toya, actually. I got both of them on the waivers, and they've just been fantastic. Aaron Clark here, 66 minutes is very encouraging. 57 points is not that great, but look, when he gets that sort of minutes, that's what you're looking for there. He keeps getting 60-plus minutes. That's good. That's what you want there. I wouldn't freak out about the score. Aaron Clark is a genuine keeper. He's a guy you're keeping in your team 100%. He's the best hooker in fantasy. there is nothing else to say on this. He's a killer. 3 offloads definitely helps. He was looking for those this week, so I think we're going to see some big scores out of Aaron Clark down the stretch. Karapani, 54 points, grabbed the try there in this one, 2 line breaks, 152 run meters. He's very attacking stat reliant, but man, he's racking up some attacking stats next to Shibasaki. If someone had told me in the preseason, hey, Shibasaki and Karapani, that's going to be one of the most lethal edges in the league, I would have been shocked. I would have thought, are you sure? Like, what about Cobbo and Dean Mariner? Aren't they the guys there? And yeah, it's incredible. They're killing it. So look, good on them. Good on the boys. They're rocking up, and the Brisbane are firing up right now too. That's where the good stuff ends, because then we get into Payne Haas with his 49 points. Payne. I'm not gonna sit here from my office and criticize Payne Haas. By the way, he's killing it. But for fantasy this week, sub 100 run meters. He had basically no runs in that first stint. Not due to his fault, by the way, just game script. 1 offload there, 2 tackle breaks. 32 tackles was the majority of his score there. It was a howler. It was an all-time shocker. And if you captain Payne Haas, you copped an absolute load there, which is just rough. But hey, look, he scored the 100 last week, so it all balances out. You got to cop the good with the bad. A few people have asked me, is he a sell? He is not a sell. Keep Payne Haas for the rest of the year. You're not selling keepers anymore, guys. Like, you're keeping your keepers. It's end game now. Payne Haas is in your final 17, and there is no discussion about it. I'm not freaking out about this, by the way. Just a weird game. They were up 18-0 for quite a while as well, so you got a bit of a rest. It's going to happen. It's going to happen sometimes. Ricky, solid. Valmunga's been fantastic, by the way, since probably about a month, maybe 6 weeks ago. He's just really upped his level, and he's looked good. And like this game, the stat line's not anything to write home about here, but you got the try saver there, 31 tackles, no misses, 2 offloads, 52 meters run is quite low, but they were dominated relatively, and he's a young prop up against Pat Carrigan, Payne Haas, right? So I was very impressed by Valmunga. I think he's just been really good recently. But yeah, for fantasy, we're probably not really digging into that too much. Carrigan could be a potential keeper if you look at him down the stretch. Probably not. You're probably going for Isaiah Yeo instead, but Carrigan, just keep an eye on him. Reece Walsh, a 45 in this one. Had a few kick meters, 126 run meters as well. A couple of offloads, 4 tackle breaks, the try assist there, a try saver. Bit of a spread of stats there, which was good. He looked good in this game. The downside is he's probably playing Origin. In fact, it might be recorded. It might be reported between the time I'm saying this right now and the upload in. I'm probably uploading at about 7:30 p.m. here. So 7:30 p.m. Sydney, right? So he might be picked for Origin by the time I upload this. But I would say he's the backup for Ponga. Like there's, Brimson's not eligible. Hammer to fullback is a potential thing they might do, but Walsh has done it before, so I'd see him jumping in. Tuivasa-Sheck, solid. Fisher-Harris, good-ish. His PPM's not been great. Egan picked up an injury in this one. I think he's okay. Ezra Mann with a 41. Laban, again, good PPM from Laban here as well. He's a guy who, if he gets 80 minutes at some point, which is quite unlikely because they've re-signed Halasima, pretty stacked on the edge, the Warriors. But if he ever did get that 80-minute role, you'd buy him 100%. Halasima came off the bench, scored a try. I don't know why he's only playing 35 minutes. I think it's pretty stupid, to be honest. Then Metcalf, 34 points in this one. He's a sell now. He's obviously picked up that injury, so nothing you can do there. Hetherington, Jensen, Harris-Tavita, Staggs, a bit more quiet, grabbed the try, but otherwise a 31-pointer. Ford, Willison, Pompey, Pegs. Yeah, Tamari Martin. This might be one of the best cash outs ever. So obviously with Metcalf's injury, either Tanner Boyd or Tamari Martin comes in to the half spot. The fact that Tamari Martin's been on the bench covering hooker and half recently tells me he's probably ahead of Tanner Boyd on the pecking order, because Tanner Boyd is more of a hooker than Tamari Martin is, but they're still choosing him as the backup. So my expectation is 240K. Tamari Martin in round 19 will be one of the most popular buys in the game. He's been very effective as the dominant half in fantasy in the past as well. And you can see that here. He's dropped 336K this year. He'll be down a bit more. Well, actually, he might bump up a little bit, but he was starting the year at 576K, right? So he's a guy who can be mid-tier at that half spot. If he's the starting halfback, you absolutely want him in your fantasy side. Then down the list here, near Corey Berry, Walters, Nickel Clockstar. So he is out for a bit as well. It was a pretty awkward, body into his knee, like an awkward bend. I don't know what the injury is, but yeah, not good. Not good what it was. And then Capewell, 22 and 80 minutes. If you're looking for that edge center jewel to save you, Capewell's not the savior. Piakura, come on, mate. Piakura, 20 points in 67 minutes. I love your Piakura, but Yeah, he played okay in real life, by the way. I'm not saying he was flawed in any way, but this 20 points and 67. Then Chizetsky comes on 16 and 9 and 29. Yeah, I want a few more points from Pierre Corey. He needs to make it to 500K so that we can say he's graduated out of being, the mascot of the casual athlete. Then Kosi Arthur's 0 points in 80 minutes is, I mean, maybe you had him in a loophole, so maybe that zero actually saved you and you didn't take his score, but not good, not good. Now the Knights and the Raiders here, and the Knights had a bit of a fight back. The Raiders were on top here, and in TBC I actually tipped the Knights because you got 5 points for the Knight tip, and you got like 1.1 for the Raiders, and I was like, you know what, I think they'll be in this game. Unfortunately, they couldn't get it all the way, but Hosking came good in this one. So 71 points for Hosking. Let's talk about the stats here because he nearly had a couple of tries as well, which would have boosted his score to like a Tallis Duncan level. So for him, try assist there. That's his only real attacking stat. Got 44 tackles there with 4 misses, 3 tackle breaks, 3 offloads, and 97 meters run. Just an effortless 71 points. Fantastic. Fantastic. Do I think he's back? Probably not. But this is a great sign. This is a really good score from him. So if you got him for next week, you're running him next week, you're happy about it. If you sold him like I did a few weeks ago, it's a one-off. You write it off. You pretend you didn't see it, right? But if you have him, he's the savior. He's back, right? So you just got to perceive it however it suits you. Half of fantasy is just keeping your spirits up, right? And just writing your own narrative about these things. So you could just write it off and say, "Hey, he was playing against Newcastle. It doesn't count." But I think this was a pretty good sign from him, though. Then Schiller, big game, 2 tries, 4 line breaks. He does have some attacking stats in him every now and then as well. Corey Horsburgh, big game as well, 69 points in that 58 minutes at lock, nearly 200 meters run, 38 tackles, flawless across the board. Very good, very good. And if he doesn't make Origin, not an insane buy. You'd need to be kind of viewing him as a keeper, and I think he's a tier below that. But you could do worse. Like if you're a team who's really low on cash, you might think about something like that. KO Weeks, big game from him. Big game. So 3 line breaks, 8 tackle breaks, 300 meters run. That's just KO Weeks special. He's so elusive. Phoenix Crossland playing 80 minutes again, 55 tackles here. Not too much else. But the big defensive work rate at lock playing 80 minutes is great. Played a bit of hooker in this one as well, I believe. So Jaden Braley only played the 62 minutes. So I think from memory, Crossland went to a bit of hooker there too. Jamal Fogarty with a 60 as well. This is great. Look, Jamal Fogarty 60 with no attacking stats is kind of ridiculous. Like that's prime Jamal Fogarty, just producing fantasy points for fun. So if you're on the Fog Express, you're stoked. And shout out to Turtles. Simi Sasangi is his guy. Turtles has been all over Simi Sasangi for such a long time. And he pumps out a 60 here, grabbed the try there, 164 meters run, 30 tackles there as well, 2 offloads, 2 tackle breaks. Happy days. One of the best centers in fantasy for next week only. And then it'll cool off after that. But as a cash out, I think Turtles got him for about 270K. So he absolutely worked out. Jaden Braley, huge PPM here. So 58 points in 62 minutes. The minutes are a bit concerning, but the points were fantastic. And if he gets 60 to 80 minutes, you're pretty happy with him at the price you got him for. So yeah, ride that wave. Enjoy the 50 tackles there. Could be an option you consider in round 19 as well. Again, if you're low on cash. Hastings, good, but not worth buying for fantasy. Starling, yeah, pretty good as well. Pierce Paul with a flat 50 there. Look, I like this game from him though. Like, it didn't go his way in terms of fantasy production, but 168 run meters. He had a lot of good ball in this one. Had a few little busts there. They weren't line breaks, but they were little busts. Yeah, 32 tackles is okay too. I was okay with this game. The 50 is not great, but I was okay with this game. I thought the indicators were good, and I'll definitely keep Pierce Paul on my team 100%. Then Joey Tarpanay, hard one. I mean, he was on 30 points after his first stint and then just didn't have a big second stint. So what are you going to do? 3 offloads? I think he had that 3 offloads in about 10 minutes as well. He was throwing everything at the start and then just cooled right off. Canberra sort of stopped attacking and nearly lost the game. So maybe they fix that up for next week. Again, I'm just sort of a necessity for round 18 forced to hold on to Tarpanay at this stage and hope that he's a keeper-ish kind of guy, right? So he's been a bit dodged at 53 minutes there. That's all been sort of dropping off recently as well. Tomoko, Lucas. I mean, Lucas, this is sort of the lowest game you're going to get. 38 tackles, 125 run meters, some negative stats there. Not worried about that. He has plenty of attack in him in the right game. Strange, Papali'i. Josh Papali'i has just been awesome recently. He's going to the Super League end of the year, so enjoy every game of Josh Papali'i you get to watch for the rest of the year because there's not too many left. Dan Gagai, 170 run meters is good. Every week you sort of think, oh, is it prime Gagai time? But I think that's sort of coming to a wind down as well. Then Matt Croker, good PPM here. Croker's off contract at the end of the year, by the way. So I mean, it's tough because he's going to be expensive. But if you went to the right club and got a 50-minute role, he'd be really interesting. He'd be really, really interesting. Smithy's best, Bradman best. He was on a very low score for a while there and really heated up down the stretch. McEwen, Safidi, yeah, down the list here. I mean, Kalen Ponga, we got to talk about him. So he's out for 4 to 6 weeks, is my understanding. A minor Liz Frank strain. So that's in the foot. He's done a bit of a strain there. He doesn't need surgery, is my understanding. But he was looking pretty good in this game at times. And then, really quiet at times. I sort of felt like, again, it's not going to be reflected in the stat sheet, but I felt in the first half that he was having a howler for fantasy, but he was playing with a lot of intent and he had a lot of, little errors and things like that they were good signs. Like he was playing really aggressive footy, and I was sort of starting to see the turnaround a bit there. And yeah, then he picked up that injury, so that sort of stunted it. But if you're a Ponga owner, I think you were about to receive a reward, so that's really unlucky for you guys. So heart goes out to you on that one. Then Xavier Savage, good. Cogger, Jed Stewart grabbed a try again. He was on an all-time low score for a while there, and 6 errors definitely doesn't help. But he heated up, and again, he's a young winger, so you can't uh, try to refrain from making too firm judgments on guys in their first sort of 10 to 20 games in first grade. But he may struggle to keep that spot, I would expect. Then Mariota, Young, Jones, Paddy, Cant, Martin. I mean, Dom Young, definitely not on the radar at this stage, but he's going to get pretty cheap. And for 2026, we might look at him as an option if he can get a bit cheaper because they're missing Sharp and Ponga now. So I'm expecting his try scoring to dry up a bit. Then Manly and the Tigers, and then we'll go through to the Dogs and the Panthers. So Manly and the Tigers, we got Terrell May with a 76. Again, lower minutes, 68 minutes here. I'm a bit worried about this. Like, the score's been fine, but the minutes are sliding down a bit. 50 tackles in this game. 2 tackle breaks, 2 offloads, pretty good. 121 run meters, a bit low there for him as well. So I'm just sort of thinking they're trying to manage him a bit, but he's a great captain option for next week, and you're probably going to captain him next week. That's probably what we're all going to do, right? But just keep an eye on him. I think down the stretch, some of those the minutes are moving in the wrong direction, right? So just keep an eye on it. Ben Trebojevic, 62 points, grab the try here. Not someone I'm buying. Adam Dewey, if he plays in the halves, F yeah. Try assist, line break. The line break was slick. He looked really fast in that line break. I wish he did that when I bought him earlier in the year. This is the problem. This is why I recommended him earlier in the year when he was playing the halves. This 58-point game was mostly from one half at half. 130 meters run, more kicking there as well. Small float, 6 tackle breaks. He was so dynamic in this game. I don't think I can fall for the same trap again, right? Because it's going to be temporary. Jerome Luai, he's going to be back after Origin, so you're not going to get on Dewey. But if you're in a draft league, you might buy him for 1 week in that draft league, but not in a classic league. DCE, pretty good game without being special, so we're not going to really dig into him. I think he's sort of off the fantasy radar a bit. Twal, solid, very good PPM here, but again, not on my radar. Waddell, big game, grabbed a try there, only 50 points, so not too much to write home about. And Olakwatu is back in round 21, is my understanding, so I'm not putting Waddell on any of the buy lists. Then Takiaho, solid. Tom Turbo, try assist here, 7 tackle breaks, 15 tackles. So in the front line, he made a few more tackles. Offload, 136 run meters here. So 49 with minimal attacking stats for Turbo at 400K. If you bought him, you're stoked. That's fine. Ruben Garrick as well. Grabbed a try in this one. Couple of line breaks here. On the wing is not ideal for him, but again, you'll take the 48 points. You roll with that. He's probably a guy we're going to sell in round 19. So just keep him for 1 more week at least. Jack Bird, 312K. Edge and center, 2 positions where you probably copped injuries this week. If you're a Kiraz owner, you're a Couchman owner, you know what I mean? This is not a crazy option. 45 points here, played 74 minutes, mostly played in the edge back row spot, 41 tackles, 59 meters run, 1 tackle break, 1 missed tackle. This is a stat line that he can replicate weekly. So he's named in the edge back row spot again. You could do much worse than Jack Bird. And I'm leaning more towards going a cash out next week, going for a cheap guy rather than trying to buy some mid-range guy, 500K. I don't want any of those guys. I want to get a cheap guy, a cash out, then focus on guns round 19, round 20. So Jack Bird, put him on your radar. Then Jake Turbo, 44. He's been quietly pretty good in terms of defensive work rate, but yeah, 400K is a little bit awkward for him. Bullimore, solid as well. Simpkin, yeah, Simpkin gets more minutes. He's interesting, but not for now. Samuel Afinu, very cheap, grabbed a 42. Some signs of resurgence there. Talon De Silva has signed with Parramatta, so he will play a split hooker role with Riley Smith is the expectation there. It's not the best for fantasy. That's going to be 30 minutes for him, maybe 40 minutes for him. Riley Smith will be the dominant with 40 to 50 minutes, I would expect. But the two of them for Parramatta, lethal. That's going to be great. Like, as a Para fan, I'm excited for it. As a fantasy owner, I'm not super keen. Jazz Tavanga, quiet one from him, 36. Hold him for next week and see what happens. Latu Fainu with a 35, and I'll just look at the stat line here because 35, no attacking stats, 19 tackles with only 2 misses, a couple of tackle breaks there, nearly 100 meters run, a lot of kicking there too, a couple of penalties, but I'm okay with this. I thought this is pretty good. And Jerome Luai was out for this game, so you factor in that his kick meters were definitely boosted, but no Jerome Luai. But I thought Latu Fainu was pretty good in this game. I think we're going to see him step up and up and up. And I mean, I do find it funny too. I did say last week that I've penciled him in for a 35. It's funny that he went exactly 35. Doesn't normally go that way. It definitely doesn't go that way normally. But yeah, for him, I would say he's moved up in my rankings a little bit. Like, I'm pushing him up to maybe a high 30s average instead of a mid 30s average. So yeah, I thought he showed some good signs. Keep rolling with him. You can start him next week. I think he's okay to start. Coruscant, HIA, so he probably misses next week. Bad news if you bought him. Kohler, grabbed a try, and then down the list here. I mean, Heath Mason at fullback wasn't great. 72 run meters is very low at the fullback spot. Lehigh Hopewadi, try assist there, nearly 200 meters run, but 27 points. Had a few pretty rough errors in this game as well. So a few bombs again. Young fullback, right? It's going to happen, but yeah, it's a tough one because they've moved Turbo to center to make space for Lee Harpawadi at fullback. So a lot of pressure on his position. See how that goes. If you've got him in your team, you stick with him. If you don't have him, I wouldn't buy him. Then Taruva, Saab, Sipley, Stafford Toa, really quiet in this one. Skelton, another injury there for him. I think it was a HIA, and he's all good, so should be all sweet. Then Lodge, Brownlee, Suka. We'll roll down the list here. And last game here, we got the Doggies and the Panthers, and then I'll just sort of talk some overall stuff. So for the Dogs and the Panthers, Cleary. Cleary's showing us who's boss, right? You forget about Cleary for a week, and then you go, all right, yeah. There's 80 points for you. I mean, look, he grabbed the try. Nice little line break there for him too. 30 tackles is big defensive work rate. 85 meters runs, a bit lower than what Cleary normally does, but the 837 kick meters is absolutely enormous. So Cleary, you need to get him in your end game team. He's going to be in your team in round 20. You need to figure out how to do it. There's no conversation to be had about this one. You force him in, unless you're really, really poor. Then Dylan Edwards, 70 points here. Look, 6 tackle breaks, 300 meters run. That's classic Dylan Edwards. And the price he's at, he's very interesting for round 20. So no early spoilers, but he will be in the pod list for round 20 for sure. For sure. Connor Tracy has these big games in him, not consistently enough though, so on the radar. Isaiah Yo, oh my God, look at this price too. And the 66 is fine, but he's going to drop down in price a bit more. He'll be like 730K, something like that when we want to buy him. So in round 19, round 20, Isaiah Yo is firmly on my buy list. Then Max King, solid. Preston, if you bought him, you're happy with 61 points. The try was an 8-pointer there, but other than that, yeah, he still pumped out a good score. Kick out, really good as well. If you potted up with him, you're loving the scores from him. Kenny, big game here, 64 tackles, 59 points. Reed Marnie, 54 in 52 minutes was awesome. And then he got taken off, and I think that was a big part of why they lost this game. But Reed was playing brilliant footy up until that point. So, Dogs are going to do what their Dogs are going to do, but I think they're better. They're a better team when they play Reed for big minutes. That's how I see it. Then Isaac Tungo, 54 points. Garner, with a 49 here. Kiraz. So Kiraz, obviously in the origin picture. The 47 is good though. So this is a 47, 200 meters run, 4 offloads, 4 tackle breaks, no attacking stats. You got a winger and he's getting 47 with no attacking stats. You are fine with that. Absolutely fine with that. No origin though means he doesn't play round 18. So that's tough. So no origin, no game because of origin, right? He's 18th man. Matt Burton should be available next week unless he's picked to start in the halves. That could be interesting. And then down the bottom here, Tor is kind of interesting down the stretch. It could be one that we look at a cut price. Crichton, Papali, Curran playing off the bench at prop. Talangi, Hayward, man, down the list here. You also want to talk about Sexton, played a bit of hooker in this one. Martin, Zeri, Jenkins, 28, bit of a crash back to earth for him. Montoya, Galvin. Okay, last one. Galvin, he is very interesting. So 512K, scored a 25 in this one. If he ever gets a starting spot in the halves, he's going to be like 450K. And you're getting a guy who could average about 50 points. He doesn't need to be a dominant kicker. Like he should average about 50 points starting at this dog side, maybe even more with the attacking potency they have. So if Galvin ever gets that starting spot properly, I'm buying him 100%. Like that's an end of bench guy at the half spot, and the half spot's been dicey as. So Galvin is firmly on my watch list. Now that's the recap for this week, guys. So in terms of where we want to go this week, it's probably going to be trying to fill your team without destroying it. So the focus this week is probably going to be a bit more on. We'll talk about the buy options that are good, but you might be looking at cash outs. And what I'm expecting for this week is a lot of people will carry a lot of cash into this week, and they won't use all that cash this week, and they'll use it next week and the week after. So my guess is we're going to do a lot of cash outs. Guys like Jack Bird are going to pop up. Guys in that sort of conversation, we're going to look for as many cheapies as we can. Sagranis at the Dragons potentially. We'll see who starts on that edge back row spot. But with all the injuries and the problems that we've had, there's going to be opportunities arise. So keep your head up, guys. I'll see you guys on Teamless Tuesday. I'll see you guys on Buy, Hold, Sell on Wednesday at 7 a.m. That always goes up. And let me know, guys, if you had a big score this week. I want to see it. Cheers, everyone. Have a great week.